Hi, and welcome to Wind Down Wednesday with Emily. Cheers, got my water bottle here. And I am Emily Bonilla, your Orange County Commissioner for District 5. We had no questions emailed to us in advance, so I'm going to start off by going through the BCC meeting highlights from yesterday, and there's quite a few this time. So a couple of things is that we are having some eminent domain on the area where we're going to have the East-West Road, which is the Richard Crotty Parkway, it's also known as that. And this is a road that's been in the works for many, many years. And there's already been some acquisition of land, and those unfortunately did not want to sell land to the county. It's being eminent domain in order for us to finish this road. It's an east-west road, an additional road north of 50 and south of University Boulevard to give another opportunity for drivers to go east to west in order to relieve traffic on University Boulevard and East Colonia. Another item was, and this isn't particularly in our district, but it does have to do with taxes. The iDrive, or International Drive Community Redevelopment Agency, and I'll just explain what a community redevelopment agency is real quick. We call them CRAs for short. And what that is if there's an area of the county, a part of a city that is blighted in some way, then CRA can be created, and it has a border that designates what the area is, and then you have property taxes that are collected on all the properties, and that property tax is like an Orange County property tax. But once that CRA is established, whatever the tax is at that moment, we get that number, and then any new tax increases after that, then up to that amount from where it was before to the new amount is called a TIF, TIFF. And that amount there, that TIF amount, is then put into like a trust fund for the CRA, and then helps for redevelopment projects within that designated area. So the International Drive has one that's been in place, I believe, sometime in the 90s, and it was for traffic congestion blight. There's different types of blight. And so in this one, like CRAs this one in addition could be used to do affordable housing, help with people who live in that area as well. And we had, and it's been all over the news, the Universal Studios Kirkman Road extension, which was a deal that the mayor made with Universal Studios to pay Universal Studios what they were calling a refund or rebate to build this extension, this road extension, which right now the land is within Universal Studios property or Universal Orlando property, and they rebuild the road, do all the work for us, and then they'll convey the road over to the county. Well, the county ended up giving them $60 million from this CRA, and then they'll be getting an additional $40 million. And I and two other commissioners voted no on that deal. I felt that the deal could have been made a lot better, like maybe asking for better jobs, salaries at Universal Studios and the new theme park that they were building this road for. In addition, there should have been more stipulation on annexation, because the way the deal is made now, after they get their money, 5 years after that, they get annexed into the city of Orlando. So I voted no on the budget that we were voting on for the CRA because it included that deal. And then a couple of procurement items that we had. There was one for, when the mayor came in, he decided, well, I will tell you that the technology in the county is really aged and old, and it really needs to be updated. But that's government for you. We are not a federal government agency. Federal government, they get to just write checks. In the state of Florida and the governments, our government, Orange County government, we have to have a balanced budget. So we we're very restricted on the amount of money that we could spend, and so our technology gets aged because it's expensive to upgrade. So we're not like a private business that can spend all sorts of money on new technology. So that's something we definitely have to get, reviewed and looked at. So the mayor put together um, a plan to get a consultant to look at all the technology across the county. And so this procurement was looking for a consulting, well, choosing a consulting firm for that. The next procurement item, more related to our district, is what we're called a NeoCat for short, but it's the Northeast Orange County Area-Wide Transportation Study. And this is a study that we are doing in East Orange County, particularly around where the GROW development is going to happen, Lake Pickett South development, to look at the traffic patterns and see what we can do to improve the traffic situation in that area. Next was the COVID-19 updates. And my office is doing a mask giveaway. It's we look at our Facebook page, the dates on there. And so I did ask questions about our supplies. We're doing good on our supplies for PPE. We closed our small business grants and the individual financial assistance. We've got all the applications that we could take at the moment, so those are all closed. We do currently have the eviction diversion program open. So if anyone is in an imminent danger of being evicted from their property, you can apply for that. You could go to the Orange County website to get that information. You could also go to my emilybonia.com website to get information on that as well. It's also on our Facebook page. Customer first development services. So another thing, when the mayor took office in 2018, and I and other commissioners have been having a lot of issues with people complaining about the way permitting is so slow and tedious. And so staff is looking at all the processes and seeing what improvements we can make. They're having stakeholder meetings and everything. So they've already done all that. And so they presented their plans, an overview of their plans for moving forward. And it's very long, but very detailed presentation. If you're looking for construction permits, I highly suggest you look at that presentation for the meeting. Some land use cases in District 5. We had several. One was a development plan near Barry University, and this I had approved previously with some conditions in order to have space and buffers between the residential properties north of it. These are apartments that they're building, which is very needed in the area. So I did feel that it was a good project, but I also wanted to make sure that there was sufficient buffering between this project and the already existing residential properties. So I wanted to make sure that was going to happen, and put in conditions that their development plan would come before me so I could make sure it was happening, and the board would have to approve it before moving forward. Doesn't typically happen that way for development plans, but because I asked for it, this did. And they did go ahead and do what I asked to do. So I approved that. Another one was, this was a commercial property that it was residential. It was along the Little Ekalakachi River on Rouse Road, almost close to University Boulevard. And it's an odd shaped property, wasn't really good for residential. And they wanted to turn it from residential to commercial. And it is close, it's on the Little Ekalakachi River. And so I feel that, unfortunately, there are residential people who live, when they live on lakes and rivers, unfortunately, they don't really follow the rules and regulations on fertilizers, which then runs into water bodies because they're not as up to date on the rules and regulations. So I did feel that it would be safer to have this commercial because they would have to follow the rules more because they are commercial. And also I made sure that they were a good distance away from the river banks and, didn't encroach on that according to our Ekalakachi river ordinance that we have in Orange County that protects our rivers, both the Little and Big Ekalakachi River. Okay, there was one that was withdrawn, which I was really excited about the withdrawing. This was student housing, and they were asking for it in a location near some residential areas that they were extremely opposed to it, was very vocal about it. So the applicant withdrew that application. There was another one. Okay, that was it for that. There was a couple of other things. They're not land use land use cases in particular, but there was one amendment that came up that I was very concerned about. We have a regulation, a policy, where if an applicant comes and asks for a comprehensive land use plan, which is a big change in our comprehensive plan, that if they were denied, then they would have to wait 2 years before that was brought back to the board again, or anything on that property, any comp plan amendments for that property. So staff was looking at eliminating that 2-year wait time. And I was really against it, still am, because that would, right now, if we have someone coming to us with a bad land use project, then, if the people are against it, I tell them it's best for them just to withdraw their application and go away, or, come back with something that the residents in the area can agree with. So this gives us leverage, this 2-year waiting period, because if if they just try to push forward and get the other commissioners to override the district commissioner, and they fail at that, then they have to wait 2 years. So that's very risky. And so it gives us, the district commissioner, leverage to have that developer work with us on making the project better. If they take away this 2-year wait period, then we have no leverage, and they could just, push forward. If they get denied, do it again. and I feel that having that 2-year wait period, gives the residents some assurance and comfort that they don't have to keep fighting a development over and over again. They at least get a 2-year break. So I am not in support of changing that 2-year wait period. And I really suggest that the constituents, pay attention to this, because this is something that we, us who want smart growth, don't want this changed. So there was another one that was continued. Fortunately, solid waste disposal fees are going up. I am really sorry about it, but the way things have been going on in the market for recyclables and solid waste, prices have just increased. So we had to do that. Also, we looked at an ordinance in order to solve some of our issues with school capacity with developments. We still want to make sure that developments are coming into an area that's going to put pressure on our school capacities. So there was some changes at the legislature which affected our agreements that we had here in Orange County. The funny thing is, it only affects Orange County. And I really feel that it was developer lobbyists who went to Tallahassee and put this in order to be able to get past that oversight in Orange County, to be able to make sure that our schools weren't going to be affected with their capacity with new developments. And then there is the ordinance for relating to parking enforcement and nuisance. And this was something that there's several items in this, but One of them was something that I was passionate about because a lot of constituents had approached me about it, about having junk cars parked in right-of-ways, and stuff like that. So I brought that up to staff, and so they were working on something else too with trucks, big semis that were parked overnight where they shouldn't be. So they just combined both of them, came forward with an ordinance to solve both those issues. So we got that passed as well. Um, so that is about all that I have for updates at the moment. And I am going to open it up for any questions. So Yvette, if you have any questions from the audience, can you put it in the questions section? So there should be a Q&A section on the platform here where you could go ahead and type in your questions and I will see them here. So I'll give you a couple of seconds to go ahead and put in your questions.
Something just came in. It says, "Hi, Commissioner. Where will this portion of the Richard Crotty Parkway end?"
End?
Mm-hmm. Let me send it to you.
Okay, so let me go to
Yes.
the,
Yeah.
all right, so that should be in the county website. Let me see if I could find it for you all. I could put the link in the chat.
They want to know when it'll begin and end.
When it will what?
Begin and end.
So it's already began. There are different sections that they're working on, so it's in different phases at the moment. Okay, but if you go to the Orange County website, ocfl.net, and then you scroll down to,
They just sent that they wanted to correct, geographically begin and end. That's what she meant.
yeah, oh yeah, I got that. Um, so if you go to ocfl.net, scroll down to where you see my face in District 5, and then on the left side it says Transportation Projects. So when you click on that, there's a whole list of projects. Under Design Phase, you'll see Richard Crotty Parkway, and then there's a map. On the left side it says Location Map Segments, and you click on that, and it will open up a map that shows you where all the segments are, and where they begin and end. So right now we are working on segment 1 and segment 2. There's segment 1A, segment 1B. I know right now they're working on segment 1, and that is from, can't tell exactly the road, but it's near Harrow Road, and that's on the east side. And the west side, it's Cimarron Boulevard. And then segment 2 will be from that Harrow Road and up to Dean Road. So, Jeannie, I know you're on the east side, so I know you may be interested more in what's happening on the segment that would go up to Tanner Road. So I have been talking to staff, Research Park, and UCF and the Navy base about that. And at the moment, I don't really have the support from all those parties for it because of security issues with the military base. So I am having our Parks and Recs, which I know that's not transportation, so what do I have to do with this? Well, in order to help get some cars off the road, especially with the new development that's coming with the grow, I had, well, the idea that if we can't have a road, then if maybe we can have a trail where we could have pedestrians and bikes, and people who are working in the research park or UCF can ride their bikes to that area. So that was more, you know, had more support from UCF, which it would only really deal with UCF if we just did a trail, and Duke Energy as well, because it's under their easement. So Parks and Rec is going to look at the possibilities of doing a trail there, because we already had a master trail plan, but this is a new segment that I'm asking for. So they're actually, because of that discussion, they're looking at their entire master trail plan and seeing what can be updated, because that plan was made like a long time ago, I'll just say. But I do have, I believe it's on our Facebook page, the transportation planning video. And you watch that video, explains some of the transportation projects that are coming in the east side. And there's also a survey there that's still open for you to fill out on any issues that you may have on the east side. Any other questions?
I think that's it. Nothing else is coming up.
Okay, well, I will end today's Wind Down Wednesday with Emily. And it was great talking to you all again. And oh, by the way, you have me for another 4 years. I did win re-election during the primaries. There's not going to be a general election. The race is over because I won more than 50% of the vote. So I'm really happy to be here serving you for another 4 years. Please, I have some great stuff coming up that's going to be new for the next 4 years. So please keep keep paying attention to everything, and please stay involved, because I am going to need your help to get things accomplished in District 5. And I have to say that, I've already accomplished a lot in the first 4 years that I'm really proud of. Um, it's been definitely an exciting 4 years, and for District 5, it's definitely been a struggle over the last several years, even with me as a constituent, fighting for a rural lifestyle and fighting for smart growth, and that continues to be an issue that we continue with. But we won. I'll tell you that we won in 2016. We won again for 2020, and we have another 4 years of fighting for what's right. And I will say that it's thanks to you all, that you voted for the right person. You didn't listen to all the lies and manipulation that was out there, and we're going to do what's right for Orange County. And we have another supporter who also won. There's going to be another new board member on the board, which is very supportive of our environment. So we'll have more friends on the board who cares about the environment. And her name's Nicole Wilson. She should be sworn in sometime in December. So really excited about that as well. So I will let you all go, and thank you for joining us. Goodbye.